Good evening, and thank you so much for taking time out of your snow day to join us this evening. We're thrilled that you're here, and we can't wait to share with you a lot of great information that you can in turn share with others. That is what we need for our pregnancy resource centers, and you have incredible power to help protect these critical community resources. My name is Myrna Maloney Flynn. I have the great honor of serving as the president of Massachusetts Citizens for Life and also as the chairman of the Pregnancy Care Alliance of Massachusetts, or as we like to call it internally, PCAL. So when you hear this evening something referred to as PCAL, that is our short acronym for the Pregnancy Care Alliance. So for those of you who are new to a Massachusetts Citizens for Life event, I'll tell you quickly a little bit about us. MCFL is the state's largest and oldest organization that is dedicated solely to the protection of human life. We are a nonprofit, and we focus on protecting life from conception through natural death. We are supported solely by a member base that spans this entire state. Thousands and thousands of supporters have supported MCFL for 50 years. And because of them, we are able to achieve many great efforts and initiatives, again, that advance the protection of all human life throughout the Commonwealth. We are a secular organization. Massachusetts Citizens for Life is a nonprofit organization. We are also the state affiliate of the National Right to Life Committee in Washington, D.C. And I mentioned our wonderful members who support us. And so for those of you tonight who are joining us who are members, I'd like to thank you so much, because without you, we wouldn't be able to produce and share this webinar with you tonight. So thank you very, very much for supporting MCFL. The two basic components of the Massachusetts Citizens for Life mission are legislative and educational. We have sought for 50 years to advance legislation on Beacon Hill that would protect all human life. And in turn, we also work to educate our electorate so that they can help to put into office those who will help us protect human life. Now, I say that with full knowledge and full acknowledgement that we face an uphill battle in the state of Massachusetts, and we have fewer friends than we would like on Beacon Hill. So what we are doing now is really focusing our efforts on that educational component of our mission. And this webinar tonight is a perfect example of what MCFL does in terms of educating others. So I welcome you to this webinar because you will learn wonderful information that, as the promo stated, isn't shared often enough, and that is really critical to really save at this point our pregnancy resource centers that are under such threat. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. First, I thought I would fill everybody in on how the Pregnancy Care Alliance, or PCAL, came about. So I'll walk backwards with you a couple of years to June 24th, 2022. That was the day when Roe versus Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court. Right away, pregnancy resource centers became essentially the target for those on the pro-choice side, really the pro-abortion side of things. And this is highly unfortunate. And one of my colleagues from PCAL will be talking a little bit later on about the why pregnancy resource centers are under such attack from others. But one of the first ways that we saw PCAL come to be was as a result of bans that different cities sought to enact. And Somerville, here in the eastern part of the state, was one of those cities that sought to just ban PRCs outright. shortly thereafter, Senator Elizabeth Warren very publicly vowed to crack down on pregnancy resource centers. And really the narrative right from the beginning was that pregnancy resource centers are unsafe, they are untested, and they harm women, they deceive women, they don't provide abortion, therefore they are in the business of lying to women. So that has been the narrative set up by the other side since day one. July of 2022, then Attorney General Maura Healey issued a consumer warning, and that is still live on the website, the state of Massachusetts. And the consumer warning really carried that narrative further and told consumers explicitly to be very, very careful if they ever engaged with a pregnancy resource center for all of the reasons I mentioned and more. And so later on, you can go and look at that consumer warning, and it is really full of false information, which is ultimately harming women who really need our help and support. And from the state, they have been given anything but through these threats and warnings. So thereafter, we saw vandalism occur at resource centers throughout the state, and staff at those pregnancy resource centers were threatened. Finally, in January of 20, and I should say that when the vandalism and threats were happening, state elected officials were doing very, very little to silence those attacks or vandals or do anything really to hold them accountable for their actions. They were sort of mute on the whole issue. So pregnancy resource centers were really on their own. They were very much on their own, fighting just to keep their doors open. So again, they could just simply serve women. January of last year, legislators at the start of the new session started to introduce bills that would ultimately keep PRCs struggling to operate, struggling to serve women. Other Massachusetts cities and towns sought to ban PRCs, as Somerville had. Massachusetts, the state budget included an earmark of $1 million specifically set aside for a smear campaign, essentially a PR effort that would educate you, the public, I should say that maybe brainwash is a different, more appropriate term. But the state set aside $1 million to make sure that the public had heard all of these false narratives about pregnancy resource centers. And then in April last year, happily, the Pregnancy Care Alliance of Massachusetts launched. And that was a result of Massachusetts Citizens for Life, our board and our staff coming together in November of 22, really in the midst of all of the attacks. And we really felt as though this aligned perfectly with our mission. And by this, I mean creating a network so that pregnancy resource centers weren't lone actors. They weren't on their own. They weren't as vulnerable. And really, with a sort of safety in numbers approach, Massachusetts Citizens for Life felt like we could help PRCs continue to do the critical work on the ground that they needed to do. And we could help affiliate events like this. We could help fundraise for pregnancy resource centers. And most importantly of all, we could help educate others across the state to counter the educational efforts that the state itself was trying to advance. So we were thrilled that pregnancy resource centers joined this network, and now we are robust. We are a group of 7 women. This is an organization operated by women for women. So 7 women representing 13 Massachusetts pregnancy resource centers, plus 1 mobile unit. And this is the timing of PCAL was wonderful because the state just last month issued, or the Department of Public Health issued yet another warning that was very, very heavy in terms of almost threatening language that was sent to pregnancy resource centers essentially warning their doctors to really follow very, very explicit rules not to advance abortion pill reversal protocol, which we'll talk a little bit about later. But this was a Department of Public Health note that was just very much heavy-handed and very threatening. So the threats from the state are not lightening up. So we really have to do more on our end to educate supporters and really educate people statewide about the good that pregnancy resource centers do. Our agenda will include those sorts of updates for you. So after I conclude here, you'll hear from Megan Paradis, who is the executive director at First Concern PRC. Then you'll hear from a former client of First Concern, Melinda, and she'll share her story about services that she was able to obtain at First Concern. Teresa Larkin, who is the executive director of Your Options Medical, will present about the opposition to PRCs. And again, what I mentioned earlier in terms of the why and why PRCs are really under attack, why others feel that they're so bad, when really, again, they serve women compassionately, safely, and at no cost. Diane O'Toole will follow up talking a little bit about an impact report done a couple of years ago that combined all of the numbers, all of the data, how many women have been served, how much money those services allot to. And again, just in 2022 alone. So she'll have some data points for you. And then Magnus will talk about some upcoming events. And I'll return later to talk a little bit about abortion pill reversal and to make a special announcement about a new undertaking that Massachusetts Citizens for Life has launched that will help to advance and protect abortion pill reversal. So with that, I would like to introduce Megan Paradis. And actually, one quick note, Meg, before you start, please feel free to offer questions in the chat as we discuss different topics. Toward the end tonight, I will help moderate your questions, and those on the panel will answer them in the time we have remaining. So, Meg, take it away.
Thank you. So PRCs are life-affirming nonprofit organizations. We number about 30 here in Massachusetts, but we are part of a much larger network of pregnancy help centers throughout the country. Close to 3,000 of them exist, which outnumbers those that provide abortion. And so we are a very cohesive group throughout the United States. But here in Massachusetts, we have about 30 centers, like I said, but they are all offer different things. They're different service models. We have medical clinics, we have doctors' offices, we have resource centers that are more helping with education and material aid for women and men experiencing unexpected and expected pregnancies. We provide ongoing care, education, information, and support so families can work through their options and make informed decisions about their pregnancy. Then we come alongside them in order to provide ongoing care, education, and support so families can successfully parent and also receive hope, help, and healing through our centers. As Myrna said, we don't receive any state or federal funding, and we provide all of our services at no cost, all through private donations. We have existed in Massachusetts for close to 40 years, and our clients we do a survey at the end of their appointments, and we have a 95% satisfaction rating from our clients. So clearly, our initiative to provide hope and help and be there for our clients is something that resonates with them. Because our centers are so different, there is a wide variety of free services for pregnant women, and they can include lab quality pregnancy tests, pregnancy options, education and information that includes parenting, adoption, and abortion, ultrasounds for pregnancy confirmation, consultations with licensed medical professionals and/or licensed counselors, some testing for sexually transmitted diseases and infections. Many centers offer material resources, including diapers, clothing, baby items, baby equipment, formula, food, gift cards, financial support if it's required, parenting education and group support, housing referrals, medical referrals. We try to come alongside the women and the men to help them see a better way, a better path forward as they're choosing life. Pregnancy centers approach our mission with professionalism, respect, confidentiality, compassion, and excellence. These standards are part of nationwide organizations that help us to be able to do these things. We are offering medical services that function under the authority of a Massachusetts licensed physician who is in good standing with the Board of Registration. These medical services, including ultrasounds, are only conducted by trained and licensed medical professionals, and pregnancy tests are administered in accordance with all applicable laws. We adhere to HIPAA regulations and only disclose information as required by law. Our clients are receiving medically accurate information about all kinds of resources, fetal development, pregnancy options, abortion pill reversal, pregnancy, and they're having a safe environment to be able to work through their options. We have staff and board members and volunteers who are receiving appropriate training on professional operating standards. And we really are a community-based support of pregnancy centers, as I said, offered nationwide because of thousands of staff and thousands of volunteers, including 10,000 licensed medical professionals. So 80% of Americans feel that elected officials should publicly denounce the attacks that Myrna spoke about earlier, and should prosecute vandalism and violence against pregnancy centers. When I was speaking with some of our former clients about some of the attacks and some of the charges, against pregnancy centers, one of my dear past former clients, one of the thousands of clients that the PRCs have helped, is here tonight to share how a PRC was there for her. And so I welcome my friend Melinda.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to come on here tonight and share my story. As Meg said, I am a long-term client of First Concern Pregnancy in Clinton. And again, my name is Melinda. I'm a young married mom of 4 who lives in Leominster. If I look back at my life 9 years ago, I could have never imagined I'd end up here. It's important to note that I was 19 years old when I became pregnant with my first child. Outside of the father of this child, I had no family support and a very brief understanding of what it took to care for an infant. Unless you've been there, very few people could possibly understand the fear and isolation that I was experiencing. I began questioning my decision to choose life for my baby ultimately, which brought me to find a community support system at the time for advice on where to seek additional resources for myself. A quick search revealed several Planned Parenthood in my area and fewer pregnancy resource centers. And of those pregnancy resource centers, First Concern was referred to me by my adolescent therapist at the time. The first appointment I could get was with First Concern. I very quickly realized the questioning around abortion and my decision to choose life for my son was driven by fear of lacking the education and support through pregnancy, delivery, and infancy. My decision to choose life was not coerced by religion or pro-life extremists, but rather I was offered tools and loving, supportive relationships to navigate the single most scary, life-changing, yet beautiful event in the history of any woman's life. Tools, as Meg mentioned, such as Earn While You Learn, the Baby Boutique, crisis support, ultrasounds, mothers group, and breastfeeding support propelled me in the direction to not only teach me the basic skills, but prepare me for the challenges that lie ahead for even the more formative early years of my son's life. It's been 9 years and several children later, and I would argue that the referral, quick response to my crisis, education, and support for all my questions about all my options is the very reason for the immensely supportive and positive experience with my first child that led me to be the mother I am today to now 4. Their devotion has been unmatched in my life, and I now view first concern as family. We include them in many milestones in different seasons of life. They've been a critical support system for myself and my family, a place I consistently find hope. The importance of pregnancy resource centers, their services and expertise extends far beyond the conversation of contraception and pregnancy tests. To many women, such as myself, this is the very difference of having the tools to choose life for their baby and not, which ultimately would have changed the entire trajectory of my life and all that it is today. As of this past December, my son has celebrated 9 birthdays, 9 Christmases. He's witnessed 2 births of his siblings and countless memories created as a result of me being lovingly empowered to believe that I had what it took to be a mother in 2013.
Melinda, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for choosing life. Thank you for trusting in first concern. And Melinda's story is very similar to women who've had positive experiences at pregnancy resource centers. They are grateful for the support. They are grateful for the ears that they find there and the willingness to just listen and help them figure out their next steps. So, Melinda, we're thankful that you were courageous enough to share your story with us. And right now, I'd like to welcome Diane O'Toole, who is the Executive Director at Boston Center for Pregnancy Choices. And she will talk a little bit about the impact, the numbers. Oh, Diane, you know what? Can you hold on one second? We need to hear from Teresa. Yes, I'm so excited for the data. Sorry. Teresa Larkin, who is the Executive Director at Your Options Medical. Sorry about that, Teresa. Take it away.
That's okay. I'm excited about those numbers too. So what started as a consumer advisory, as Myrna shared with you, quickly landslided into a slew of negative press and accusations that were without merit against our centers. In over 40 years of being in operation, research found that only 4 complaints were ever leveled against a pregnancy resource center, and all were found to be without merit, and not one of them was acted on. So the question then becomes, why now? Why are pregnancy centers being attacked and threatened so much now after the Dobbs decision? And one of the things that we soon learned was that there was one narrative that was being spoken, and it was against the fact that we were not providing abortions, that we were not allowing women to have full access to full reproductive choice. And this narrative just kept repeating itself over and over again. And as we've learned, that agencies and organizations that we presumed would be unbiased, sadly, are not. And that became a narrative that was just, as I said, constantly repeated, that became picked up by government officials, local and federal, media, and other organizations as well. And we made numerous attempts to connect, to just hear our hearts. We made numerous attempts to connect with our elected officials, to meet with them, to try to correct the wreckage. I let them hear from us, hear who we are, see what we do, talk to the women like Melinda that we've served and helped. And yet we've been denied. They've literally ignored our efforts. We have not heard no response from any of our officials in this state, such as the governor, attorney general, senators, representatives have largely ignored all of our efforts to connect with them and try to explain and help them to see and understand who we are and the valuable work that we're doing, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We do thank the many representatives that have taken the time. There have been several state representatives and senators that have been willing and open to hearing who we are. And we thank them for that. But more needs to happen to correct the lies that are being continually spun about pregnancy centers. One of the things that we are, again, have now being switched, and from pregnancy resource centers, we are now being labeled anti-abortion centers, which again, the crime against our centers is that we don't provide or refer for abortions. And frankly, we don't apologize for that. We are not apologizing for the services that we do provide, because we actually believe that women deserve a choice, that women deserve an opportunity to choose life if they so want to, and not having, as we said, an informed consent, informed choice. So the irony of the pro-choice movement has always been that there's no choice but abortion, and that abortion is being promoted as the choice, the only choice, the best choice. And if you don't offer that, then you're against women and against choice. And so that is a major lie that is continuing to be perpetrated against pregnancy centers. And it's time to correct the reality of what we offer, who we work with, the type of women that we help. And again, in Massachusetts, with so many other issues we're facing, it's just frankly sad that they are going to attack centers like ours that provide free services. Over $1 million annually of free medical services alone are being provided to women in Massachusetts. And that is something that should be celebrated. That is something that should be acknowledged, not something that should be criticized. And that's what we're finding. We really want to get the message out of the good work that we're doing, and the fact that we are giving women, we trust women that when they're giving information, that they're going to make a better choice than abortion. And that's what we really look to do to help. And if women do have an abortion, that's the other thing. No one is there from them, but we are. We're there to help them process through the grief that they may experience, the remorse, the shame. And so we are a full center that provides ongoing support, as Meg said, but also for those that chose abortion. And one of the best ways that you can help us is to reach your state representatives and to encourage them to find the truth about pregnancy centers and to help us turn the ship around here in Massachusetts, turn it around from one of the most pro-abortion states now in the country to one that values life and values an opportunity for women to be given true choice.
Thank you so much, Teresa. That was just what everybody needs to hear and repeat and share widely. So thank you. And thank you for your great work too. Teresa is the spokesperson for PCAL. And so whenever we receive media inquiries, Teresa is right there ready to let the media know what the truth is. And she's extremely courageous and brave. And she's got a thick skin to put up with a lot of the media falsehoods. And so she's great to have on the team. Diane, now we would love to hear from you, and specifically those numbers that we referenced earlier. What can you tell us about data?
Well, as Teresa mentioned, it's well over $1 million just in the P-call centers alone that have given, this is 2022 impact report, and we are collecting the 2023 impact report, which is actually going to exceed these figures. But alone, the savings to our communities is well over $1 million. And the clients that we've served are over 2,000. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I just want to emphasize that because we only currently in PCall have a little less than half of the PRCs have joined so far. And as Meg mentioned, the different pregnancy resource centers do various things. Some have ultrasounds on site, some do not. Some have options counseling, some do not. And others have free pregnancy tests, and others do not. And some simply give away baby clothes and diapers and are strictly just resource centers. So that is kind of a range of who we are. And you can see from the statistics here that, over 500,000 in ultrasound exams free were given. Over $60,000 in pregnancy tests, well over $500,000 in material assistance. We love, care, and support our clients in many, many ways. And we are there for the clients, as was mentioned, even if they do choose abortion, for after abortion healing counseling. And we just opened a new center a couple of years ago in Quincy called Springwater, which is strictly for after abortion healing, because unfortunately that is so desperately needed today. And, one of the things I was asked to talk about also is how you can help. And, one of the first things of how those who are watching us right now can help get the truth out about pregnancy resource centers is to share this webinar recording with the factual information that we've been giving, and donate to PCAL's public awareness campaign. You have a QR code that's on the screen. If you don't know how to use QR codes, and I just learned actually a couple of years ago during COVID, but if you have a iPhone or smartphone, you just put the camera on and you put it towards the QR code, and a website will pop up that directs you right to the site where you can donate. One of the things we're trying to do at PCall right now, that's really one of our biggest focus, is to get awareness out, get education out, as Myrna said, to just let the general public know who we are and what we do. And talk to your friends and family about what you know about pregnancy resource centers. Share the pregnancy resource PCall website. Follow us on social media. If you don't know that much about us, and some of you attending may not, visit a pregnancy resource center near you. We're happy to host the general public, legislators, anyone who just is truly interested in knowing about us and what we do. And if you do have a strong position in support of pregnancy resource centers, please write letters to the editor, even in your local paper, in your town paper, to let people know gee, I volunteer for this pregnancy resource center, and here's who they help, and here's what they do, and here's what I've seen about who they help, and how really appreciative those who come through our doors are. I mean, we do have a exit interview, and we have a 98% satisfaction rate. So, I encourage you to go to the website of pregnancycarealliance.org and learn even more about us. And, I sincerely thank you for attending tonight, learning more information. And if you can also, share with your colleagues, friends, family, the good information that you learned this evening.
Thank you, Diane. And now I'd like to welcome Magnus, who is an event manager for the Pregnancy Care Center Northeast, and she'll tell you about a few upcoming events that we've got planned.
Thanks, Myrna. So the Pregnancy Care Alliance has a couple exciting events coming up. The first is Tuesday, June 25th. We'll be part of Celebration of Life Day at the Massachusetts State House in Boston. This is actually the third time this event has taken place. It's a remarkable event. The goal is to educate and inform the legislatures, their staff, and the public on the great work pregnancy centers are doing in Massachusetts. There's guest speakers, client testimonies, and informational tables hosted by pregnancy centers, maternity homes, and other life-affirming ministries and groups in Massachusetts from all over the state. So please consider joining us and perhaps even organizing a bus or carpool from your church or town, because parking is not easy and not cheap in Boston. The second event we have coming up is we will be at the Christian Music Festival called Soul Fest, which is in Greenfield, Massachusetts in August 15th through the 17th. Soul Fest attracts over 10,000 attendees, and we will be at a table handing out information and sharing our experience working at pregnancy centers in Massachusetts. So we're really looking forward to that. You can visit pregnancycarealliance.com and follow us on social media for the latest information on upcoming events. And please join us and help us promote them. Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now we would like to get to our Q&A. And I think looks like we have several good questions coming in. So I will open it up to the panelists, and you can tackle these. Okay, one question. Has there been any violence in Massachusetts against PRCs? If yes, are they being investigated by law enforcement?
Well, the answer is yes.
Yes.
And they have been investigated by law enforcement. I'm going to let you speak further to that, Teresa, because nobody has been prosecuted yet. So yes, there have been investigations open, but there have not been any actual arrests made.
Yes, we were one of the centers that were tagged with the kind of their tagline, which was, if abortions aren't safe, neither are you. And so we had that spray painted on one of our buildings. There was another center in Western Massachusetts that was also their building was physically attacked. And so for a period of about, I want to say 2 months, we had many times we had things spray painted on our walls or things left in our mailbox threatening us. And so nobody the FBI was contacted, local police was contacted, but nothing ever was determined. They didn't really pursue any ongoing information. So nothing ever really came of it. And we, unfortunately, we do have security cameras out at our building because we're on a main street, but somehow those cameras never picked up anything. So praise God, nobody was physically hurt, but our building was targeted several times.
Let's see,
And
another question.
We also have
sorry.
violence as well and have been protested, but unfortunately, we also did not catch the people who had done that.
So another question, on a related note, what legal measures is the Alliance taking to counter state threats to PRC medical staff? That might be one that we'd like to hold on, I think, because it's probably best if we don't comment on the legal end of things right now. So I will respectfully move to the next question. Here's a good question. This is kind of going back to the events realm. Are PCAL centers having open houses in 2024 like we did last year? Who wants to take that one?
I could take that one. So last year we had great success. We did a statewide open house through all of our centers and other centers that wanted to participate that were not part of PCAL. And so, yes, we will be doing that again in 2024. We don't have the date decided yet, but again, all that information will be on the website on pregnancycarealliance.com. So definitely we'll be doing that again.
Okay, and then a couple of questions regarding different areas in the state where women can find help. Do we have any centers in Worcester County? And what PRCs do we support in Western Massachusetts?
Worcester County has First Concern Pregnancy Resource Center, which is located in Clinton. There's CareNet that is in Fitchburg. And then Worcester centers as well. And then what was the other side? The western part?
Western Mass. Yep.
I would just let everyone know that there are different national websites you can go to. One of them would be Option Line. And you can put it in a zip code and pull up really all over the country, but you can pull up your most local pregnancy care center. And then Springfield has a clinic and I believe another resource center as well.
Mm-hmm. Greenfield does as well in Western Mass.
Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Here is a question for Melinda. Thank you, Melinda, for sharing your experiences. I would appreciate learning more about the biggest challenges you faced considering life, the cost of medical care, childcare, job search, help, etc., and how the centers directly or indirectly helped you with being able to afford caring for your son. In my experience, costs are one of the biggest arguments people cite when challenging pro-life views. It would be helpful to share how PRCs offer tactical help in this area. Thank you.
So I think it was a wide range for me personally. It was a wide range of challenges that I was facing. I think one of the ones that is most often not talked about is domestic violence, and, you know, how many resources are available for women who become pregnant, who are experiencing domestic violence in their home. For me, that was a challenge, as well as cost, right? Babies are not cheap. Owning a home is not cheap. Renting an apartment and a space for your child to grow up so that they can go to school, child care for that child. And that was a concern for me. How could I afford to work and balance a life and not know what support I had from the father of my child? For me, it was, I didn't have a large group of people, you know, I didn't have a village, as they say. And first concern became that village for me. There was times where I didn't have enough, you know, financial support to, you know, when the father of this child left, I didn't have enough financial support to buy diapers some week. Obviously, I need those. I didn't have enough at times to feed myself. And it was just a very warm and welcoming environment for me to express these concerns and receive resources. Breastfeeding, that was a huge challenge for me. I had a lactation consultant come to First Concern and sit with me for hours on end, to help support me and what that would look like, ultimately saving me money on formula and costs of formula. I'm not sure, did I hit the nail on the head with just about everything that was asked?
Yeah, I think you did a great job. Yeah. I mean, it was
when you're doing it alone, I think any amount of support that can be given to you is just invaluable. Like, it's so valuable. It has changed my life. You know, and hopefully it can change somebody else's, as long as that we allow others to continue to, you know, spread awareness and educate those around us.
Great. Thank you, Melinda.
Sure.
Thank you again. Another question. This is a great question. Can you let us know about volunteer opportunities at PRCs? Anne, would you like to take that?
I would, yes. So I'm here only representing my center, the Pregnancy Care Center. We're in Haverhill, Lawrence, and Lowell. So we have 8 staff members and over 60 volunteers. So a lot of the centers that are represented here are lean and mean with staffers. So we really depend on volunteers for everything that we do. You'd have to check out the website of each center individually to see what volunteer opportunities are available near you. But some of the roles of volunteers, which are critical at the Pregnancy Care Center, of course, there's peer mentoring, which is helping the women when they come in their crisis. There's also helping with the different material services that we offer. So folding baby clothes and stocking the food pantry, and sorting gifts that come in from different centers that are supporting us from different groups. And then there's also the administrative side. So you can help with mailings and fundraising efforts. But there's no shortage of opportunities. So whatever your talents are, we can use them. Trust me. Thank you.
I often say we cannot do what we do without our volunteers.
Absolutely.
Certainly our donors, supporters, volunteers, they're the backbone of our operation in addition to our staff.
Let's see. So one more question. What is the claim that is most often made against pregnancy resource centers that is not true?
Gosh, there's a lot of them, but I would say there's 2 I would put right up there. One is that we deceive women. We provide incorrect medical information. Those 2 the most, and also that we are not HIPAA compliant and we somehow compromise their medical information or you know, their information period, which we do not do any of those things.
So, Diane, just to kind of piggyback on your response, somebody just typed into the chat referencing the East Hampton PRC that was under attack. And they say they participated in the town meeting supporting the PRC there in East Hampton, Bethlehem House, when the town tried to shut it down. It was sad to hear the venom against the PRC, but empowering to share our voice. Please let us know when other PRCs are under attack so we can help. That is huge. First of all, thank you for speaking up at that town meeting. Your voice was clearly heard because that East Hampton ordinance failed. And that PRC is open and helping women. So your voice may have tipped the scales. And so, yes, that is one way that anyone listening tonight and those you share with about PRCs, that is how we need help. Absolutely. So that's great. Thank you. Okay, we have time for one more. Let's see here. Let's see. Last one. The pro-choice movement asks about choice. Why wouldn't they support pregnancy resource centers that offer choice? Good question.
It's a great question, but they don't see us that way. They see us as forcing women to have babies, and that's not who we are and what we do. We offer help, hope, help, and healing, as Meg said earlier. I mean, that really is what pregnancy resource centers do. We are there after the fact for women who do choose abortion to have after abortion healing care. And many do come back for that, even if they come through our centers and decide to leave and have an abortion. Because
yeah. Oh, sorry, Diane.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Because I know we're running out of time, and I just, I think that is the irony, as we've said, that, they've sort of corrupted that language because we are more pro-choice, than the side, because we do believe that women have a choice to make, and to give them all the choices really is what empowers them. And the other side, again, is they'll say, Planned Parenthood is a full reproductive health clinic. And yet when you think about what they do, nothing they offer actually reproduces. They do everything to prevent a woman from having a baby. And yet that is sort of considered, the hallmark of women's health. So it's very unfortunate that the labels get put on people without really thinking through what they actually mean.
I mean, I just love the statement life affirming, because, and I often say pregnancy resource centers are the ones who offer education and medically reviewed education and offer the, true choice, not just one choice, which is abortion.
So the last question that we have time for is a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about here at the conclusion. And that question related to abortion pill reversal. And that is, again, one choice that women have. And it's a choice that the other side continually seeks to eliminate. And so I'm going to start quickly, and I'm going to run through a few slides to talk about ways that Massachusetts Citizens for Life is helping to keep abortion pill reversal available and legal for women. So this is a story that has played out over 4,500 times around the world. So this is a story about a particular woman named Ashley, and Ashley's story is very similar to many, many other women. She found that she was unexpectedly pregnant. She already had small children at home. She panicked, felt that abortion was best, so she sought abortion pill, chemical abortion, took the first of 2 abortion pills, and immediately regretted taking that pill So she scrambled and found the abortion pill reversal network and was able to begin high doses of progesterone, which is a natural hormone that women's bodies make during pregnancy. And in very, very high doses, that can reverse the effect of the first abortion pill. She saved her pregnancy, delivered a healthy baby who she now thinks is the cutest boy ever. And again, abortion pill reversal is safe, it's effective, and it has saved the lives of at least 4,500 children worldwide to date. However, the science behind abortion pill reversal, or sometimes it's called in other countries abortion pill rescue, the science is under attack. If you were to Google abortion pill reversal, the results you would meet will be essentially almost all very, very negative, accusing APR of being unsafe, not scientifically proven, dangerous for women, you name it. The complaints against APR are readily available online and put forth by who we would consider very expert sources, which only helps the other side advance the claim that APR is not safe. So Massachusetts Citizens for Life has just launched last month a website that aims to correct the misinformation about abortion pill reversal, but specifically for the medical community, researchers, those who are looking for real truth and very detailed studies related to abortion pill reversal. And so APR Science presents those studies. Any study that has ever been done, essentially, is present on aprscience.org. And scientific principles are explained. So clinicians who visit aprscience.org, physicians who work at pregnancy resource centers, they can learn exactly how APR works, why it is safe, how to prescribe it, and how to ensure that more women have access to it. We also hope that aprscience.org will educate legislators, media, and those at the state level who are working in some states like California, Colorado, and we presume very shortly here in Massachusetts to make abortion pill reversal illegal. So we're hoping that we can communicate the safety, the effectiveness of APR, and really present it as choice, which it is, and it has been for thousands of women. So if you have a chance, visit aprscience.org. And again, it's not for the layperson. There's a ton of data there. It's a clearinghouse, but we have put it together with the help of experts around the world. Literally, we've got a partner in Australia who has helped review this site. We've got a partner in the UK. We've got several physicians across the country who are pioneers, really, in abortion pill reversal. All of them have looked at our website, offered critiques, shared content. And so this is really a tremendous resource. It's the first of its kind. And so we need your help to share it with the medical community, who, again, is very critical of APR. And with that, we are about at time. We're 2 minutes over. So I will wrap things up tonight unless my colleagues have any other last comments. Okay. Well, to those of you who took time out of your evening, we're once again so grateful. And please share this recording. We will have a recording posted to our YouTube channel and also at pregnancycarealliance.com. So please share this. Please visit the website. Please support us as you can. And thank you for your efforts in helping to protect our pregnancy resource centers. Have a great evening. Good night.